At this time, I'm going to tackle the one last piece of the page that is pretty much like the things we've been doing already, and that is I'm going to put the arrow icon on this button. I've already styled the button so that it has the right color and has some padding around it, around this link. Now I need the arrow. After that, we'll get going with the navbar and the two-column floating layout. So arrow. Now I have one because I exported it or I generated it from the Photoshop mockup, and it's called arrow.png. I have an A here. At this moment, whenever I'm working with a rule that's like really general, I think, is it important that I make a specific rule for this particular button? And so I just take a quick look through the HTML, or if you want, you can do it in the inspector, which is a little bit faster, right? Than scrolling through. Right click and inspect. And well, it's pretty general, class equals button. So, but that's more general than just A. So I think I would be, or more specific than just A. So I think I would be inclined to put it here in this rule. So on this button, background color, I'm going to also put a background image. Oh, I'm going to make a mistake here that's really easy to make so that you can, if this happens to you, maybe you'll remember this mistake. So okay, I'm just going to put a background on here, URL, images, and put the arrow. And we're about to see something odd happen with the background color. I'm going to say no repeat, and we will put it on the right-hand side in the middle. Okay, save, refresh, and let's have a look. Well, why did my background color disappear? Common mistake. This happens all the time when you're first starting. So, and it looks fine over here, right? Background color is being applied, background is being applied, but here's what's actually happening. CSS is red from top to bottom, so it encounters this dot button rule. It sets the background color. Then in the very next line, it finds the background shortcut. Background shortcut, if I don't list a color here, it assumes I mean the word transparent. So it's like I wrote background : transparent, URL, blah, 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 no repeat, right center, completely obliterating the previous background color. This is really easy to do by accident with a specific background property followed by the general background shortcut rule. Here's how to fix it. Just flip the lines. Triple click to select the line, cut, paste it underneath. Then I have the more general big background shortcut followed by a specific override for background color. Save and refresh. Done. We have to clean up with padding. So the reason I just showed you that is because that's a really easy mistake to make, and it's really hard to figure out why it's happening if you don't know CSS very well, because over here in the inspector there's nothing crossed out. It looks like everything's perfect. So hopefully that will help some of you if you do that by accident. What I need to do is add some padding on the right here so that the arrow is to the right of the words, and that is easily accomplished over here by padding right. I think I'm going to run into another issue here, but we'll see in a minute. I don't know how big that is. How big is that thing? Arrow.ping, 35 pixels wide. So that includes a little halo around it and stuff. So we'll say 35 at least. I'm going to try 35 and see if that's sufficient. Padding right, 35px, save. I have a feeling this is not going to work. Oh no, it is. Okay. So the reason why I was wondering if it's going to work is because, oh right, it's padding. That would be fine. Because this A tag is an inline element, if you tried to set width and height on it, it would ignore you. But it's okay with you setting padding on it. There is a hover rule on this. What I can't remember is, what can I not remember? Whether we're going to set the hover. I'll come back to that later at the end if we want to do a special hover. The reason why I'm considering it is because it looked like there was some kind of a glow on this button. So I might go back to Photoshop in a little bit to see if there's another version of this button with a different kind of glow so that the button could change as you hover over. Meanwhile, we will next tackle the nav bar.